La razón por la cual
I have such an interest in this
tengo un interés en esto,
is because I have studied people.
he estudiado gente,
I've studied my own family.
mi propia familia,
Who better to start with
con quién mejor que empezar,
than your own loved
con
ones
tu propia familia.
when it comes to relationships?
Cuando se trata de la relación,
That's why I'm not married yet.
por eso todavía no me he casado.
I'm waiting on the Lord
He estado esperando en el Señor.
because everything I have seen them go through
Todo lo que he visto que ellos han pasado
made me want to wait.
me hizo querer esperar.
Everything was so out of order.
Todo estaba fuera de orden.
The women tried to run the relationship
Mujeres querían correr la relación.
when the Bible clearly states that the man is the head of the household.
Cuando la Biblia claramente dice que el hombre es la cabeza de la casa.
They would do things
Hacen cosas
just to make my family do what they wanted.
para que mi familia, para que ellos manipularan a mi familia.
They would manipulate.
Los manipulaban,
They would lie.
mentían,
They would threaten.
los amenazaban.
There was even my cousin's ex-wife
También la ex esposa de mi primo,
who was lazy
que era batallaba con flojera
when she was pregnant.
cuando estaba embarazada.
It disgusted my own grandmother.
En verdad, mi abuelita se enojaba.
My grandmother, she was old-fashioned.
Ella era tradicional de aquellos
She
días.
didn't care if she was pregnant.
No le importaba si estaba
She
embarazada.
knew there was still work to be done.
Ella sabía que había trabajo que hacer.
My grandmother's house, you could eat off the floor. It was so clean.
En la casa de mi abuela podía comer del
She cleaned that house when she was pregnant from head to toe.
podían comer del piso porque ella limpiaba la casa desde arriba para abajo.
And as soon as she found out that this girl could not carry a pitcher of water,
Y cuando ella se dio cuenta que esta mujer no podía
it
cargar
just
una jarra de agua,
disgusted her.
se enojó.
That's the type of relationships that my family was in.
Esas relaciones estaban en mi familia.
They didn't seek God on any of them.
No buscaban Dios en ninguna.
And the ones that didn't even pay attention to
Y
God.
los que buscaban no le ponían atención a Dios.
One of my family members
Uno de mis familiares
got with a woman that was into witchcraft.
se metió con una muchacha que estaba con hechicería.
She had an Ouija board.
Tenía una ouija.
And Ouija boards are very, very
Y la
dangerous.
ouija está bien peligrosa.
I've heard stories of people
He oído historias de gente
taking an Ouija board,
que los agarra en una ouija,
using it,
que los usan.
and then when it spelled out something that made them angry,
Y cuando empieza a poner palabras que
they
los
took it and threw the board into a fireplace
lo agarran y tiraron el cartón, el pedazo de madera en un fuego
while there was fire in there.
mientras había fuego.
And as soon as that board started to burn,
Y cuando empezó a quemarse,
it screamed
gritó ese pedazo de
and
madera
flew back out at her.
y voló para atrás hacia la persona que lo tiró.
That's how dangerous that stuff is.
Así de peligrosa es la ouija.
My three cousins,
Mis tres primos
they were so desperate to be with a woman.
estaban tan desesperados de estar con una mujer.
They didn't care of the attitude,
No le importaba el carácter,
the way she looked.
cómo se mirara,
They just plain didn't care.
nomás no le importó.
And all it did
Y lo que hizo,
was every relationship
cada relación
ended up in torment,
terminó en tormento,
in heartbreak.
en quebrante el corazón.
And that made me
Y eso me hizo
stay single
que me quedara soltero,
because I wanted to wait for the right one.
porque quería esperar por la que Dios tiene.
I wanted that the one shot I got at marriage
Quería que la única que cuando me voy a casar,
was going to be the first and only time
que sea la primera y la única
that I get married.
que me case.
Because I was going to make sure it was done right.
porque iba a asegurarme que se hiciera correctamente.
You can even marry the right one
Puedes casarte con la persona correcta
and still have
y
problems
todavía tener problemas.
as long as God's not a part of the equation.
Aunque Dios no sea parte de la matemática.
Because once you push God aside,
En cuanto haces a Dios a un lado,
then there's going to be problems.
entonces va a haber problemas.
Because then you have opened the doors
Entonces has abierto las puertas
to allow the devil to come in
para permitir que el diablo
and to create problems,
y que cree problemas,
to create mischief.
que cree desengaños.
But if you are a couple
Si eres una pareja
that has joined together with
que
God,
están unidos con Dios,
you allow God in the middle of the relationship,
permite a Dios una relación,
then you have nothing to worry about.
no tienes nada de qué preocuparte.
Sure, there will be disagreements.
Habrá desacuerdos.
We're humans, why not?
Somos humanos, ¿por qué no?
We're not going to agree on everything.
No vamos a estar de acuerdo con todo,
But the fights and the arguments
pero las peleas y argumentos
are very little
son pequeños
because Christ is in the midst.
porque Cristo está en el medio.
I feel that this message is for somebody today.
Siento que este mensaje es para alguien
I have no idea who,
aquí. No sé quién,
but the Lord knows who.
pero Dios no sabe quién.
Marriage is a beautiful thing.
El matrimonio es algo hermoso,
It is very sacred to God
sagrado ante Dios.
because it is an intertwining of two people's souls.
Eso es un entretenimiento, algo en que Dios los entreteje a los dos en un tejido
To be made one.
para que sean
One body,
un cuerpo,
one mind,
una mente,
one spirit,
un espíritu,
one flesh.
una carne.
That is the way God had made it.
Esa es la manera en que Dios lo hizo.
There is somebody out there that has our ribs.
Hay alguien allá que tiene nuestra
There is-
otra mitad de costilla.
For the men, there are women that have our ribs,
Hay mujeres que tienen nuestra costilla,
just waiting to be reconnected
esperando que se reconecten
so that way we can be whole.
para que seamos enteros.
Because without that rib,
Sin esa costilla
we may fall apart.
nos podemos caer para atrás.
We're not complete.
No somos completos.
We may have Jesus,
Podemos tener a Jesús,
but he says in his word,
pero en su palabra dice,
it is not good for man to be alone.
no es bueno que el hombre esté solo.
We are to be connected with somebody.
Debemos de estar conectados con alguien,
We are to be in ministry with someone.
en ministerio con alguien.
Jesus never walked alone.
Jesús no caminó solo,
He had all the authority,
tenía la autoridad,
but he still never walked alone.
pero no caminó solo.
He had multitudes following him.
Tenía multitud siguiéndolo.
He even had the disciples following him.
Tenía los discípulos siguiéndolo.
He was training them,
Los
yes,
estaba entrenando,
but he was never alone.
pero no estaba solo.
In order for him to be alone,
Para que él estuviera solo,
he had to wait till everyone was sleeping and sneak away,
tuvo que esperar que todos se durmieran y se iban
just so he could be alone.
para que él estuviera solo.
But when he went and ministered,
Y cuando fue a ministrar,
he had everyone else with him.
tenía a todos con él.
And that's the same with a
Y
marriage.
así en un matrimonio,
We have somebody with us to minister with.
tenemos a alguien al lado con quien ministrar.
Because the wife
Porque la esposa
may have women out there
tendrá mujeres
that need to be spoken to.
que necesitan que oigan la voz de
And
Dios.
that the only way that they'll open up
Y para que ellas se abran,
is by hearing another female speak to them.
es el oír a otra mujer femenina que les
Because
habla.
not all women will open up to a man,
No todas las mujeres se van a abrir a un hombre,
regardless if he's a man of God.
no importa si sea hombre de Dios.
Just for the simple fact that we're men,
Porque somos hombres,
they will not open up.
ellos no se van a abrir.
That's where the balance comes in between a man and a woman.
Allí donde está el balance entre un hombre y una mujer.
That's where the rib comes in at.
Allí entra la costilla,
That connection.
esa conexión.
I may be single and preaching on this subject,
Quizás estoy soltero y predicando en este tema,
But the Lord knows
Pero el Señor conoce
my heart.
mi corazón.
He knows the interest that I've had in this.
Él conoce el interés que tengo yo en esto.
The studying and observation that I have done.
El estudio y la observación que he hecho.
And believe me, I've seen a lot of weird things in my life.
He visto muchas